Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Hi, this is Kenton with Christian Community Connect. We're a network of business professionals that are committed to living out our faith in the marketplace by preferring one another in love while serving everyone. With online listings at $27 per month, if you're a Christian in business, committed to treating others as you would want to be treated, we would love to include you. Check our reviews and sign up at ChristianCommunityConnect.com.
Attention, you're listening to the Todd Huff Radio Show, America's home for conservative, not bitter talk radio. Be advised that the content of this program has been documented to prevent and even cure liberalism, and listening may cause you to lean to the right. Here's your conservative, but not bitter host, Todd Huff.
Well, that is right. You are listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk and Education as we're working on launching our CNBU, Conservative Not Bitter series, your online conservative academy, which you can find out more information from that if you're interested in learning more. We're going to be launching these courses here in the not too distant future here. As we are growing, actually going to bring some more staff on, and then we're going to really ramp up some of these things here quickly. But you can find out more by texting the word course to 888-111. 888-111, text the word course, and I think you got to respond with your email, and you'll get some email. You'll get an email explaining some of what's going on as those programs begin to come together on our end. Good to be here. Thank you for joining us here. Last hour, again, last hour is available on Facebook as a podcast if you want to download it on your favorite podcast site or wherever you get your podcast, iTunes. We're on Stitcher. We're on TuneIn. We're in iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those places. But that's where you can listen to hour one. We talked about this, this church service in Atlanta at Passion City Church, Louis Giglio. We talked about Dan Cathy. There we go. Dan Cathy and some of the comments he was making about the role of white people as it pertains to the issues that black Americans are facing as it pertains to police and all this stuff, this systemic racism, these sorts of things. And so we left off last hour with me basically, being a little critical of some of the things that are being said here. And not only some of the things that are being said that I think are incorrect. Not everything's incorrect, of course. In fact, I'll go ahead and reread this statement. Again, Dan Cathy shined Lecrae's stage, or shoes on stage, I should say. And he says this: any expressions of a contrite heart, of a sense of humility, a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment, an apologetic heart, I think that's what our world needs to hear today. Now, I don't disagree with the sentiment. I just disagree with some of those things that are in there. Look, having a contrite heart is a good thing in the sense of when working through some of these issues. Having a sense of humility is always a good thing. A sense of humility. None of us are God. That rule has been taken. God doesn't need our help, our genius, right? He doesn't need that. He can do just fine without it. He welcomes us in, I should say. Welcomes us to be a part of that, of his work, but doesn't need us. So humility is always important. But I have a problem with a sense of shame and a sense of embarrassment. Like those are not tools that God uses. I guess you can say he uses shame until you repent and acknowledge what you've done. It's not if you're having shame about something from years or decades ago, even months ago, that you've dealt with and have, made the proper adjustments to, there's really nothing else you can do. You've been set free from that from a Christian perspective. So I have a problem with those sorts of things in dealing with this, because I can't ask for forgiveness for something that I'm not guilty of. Now, of course, they're going to say because I'm white that I am guilty, and that, my friends, is insane. We're all guilty of something, absolutely. Humanity is broken. This is biblically true. All have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, but it doesn't mean that all are every single thing, right? Everyone's a racist, everyone's a sexist, right? I know that they try to paint conservatives like that. Everyone who's a conservative is a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, automatically. And by the way, I should also point out, just because you don't agree with certain lifestyles doesn't mean that you hate those people either. That's something else that's a lie straight from the pits of hell, right? I mean, you can have opinions about things, and so especially when they're biblically rooted. Anyway, so there's that misrepresentation and of really what we should do next personally with whatever problems are identified here as it pertains to racism in America and all that. But there's also the issue of these platitudes that are being spoken about. And I mentioned what he said here again. Dan Cathy said, we as Caucasians, until we're willing to just pick up the baton and fight for our black African-American brothers and sisters, which they are as one human race, we're shameful. We're just adding to it. So you'll forgive me if I need a little bit more. What do these metaphors mean? Pick up the baton and fight for our black African-American brothers and sisters. What does that specifically mean? And I really mean this. What does that mean? What am I supposed to do? Why insinuate that I haven't been? If I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and since we're talking about pastors, church stage here, Louis Giglio's given up part of his stage for Dan Cathy to share his heart and convictions and so forth, which, again, those are Dan Cathy's to share, and that's his prerogative. But if you're going to tell me as a Caucasian Christian that I need to pick up the baton and fight for black African-American brothers and sisters, I don't disagree with that. But what does that mean? See, these words matter now. Now we're getting from recognizing a problem or identifying the problem, getting the attention to talk about the problem, to now let's figure out a solution. And I'm going to tell you that all these solutions that are being proposed fall in line with the radical leftist agenda. Reparations? That's not going to happen. And I'll tell you what, if you want to exasperate racial relations, pass that. If you want to make things worse between races, pass that. Tell one race of people that they have to effectively write a check and hand it over to another race of people in this country by law, by force, by government force, for things that the larger group of people is, in many cases, of course there are exceptions to people being idiot racists, but the vast majority had nothing to do with. We had nothing to do with slavery. We had nothing to do with the civil rights problems back in the 60s. None of that. They don't know how we live our lives. They want to. They want to pretend that they know. They want to assume that being white is apparently part of the problem. That's stupid. That's silly. That's nonsensical. Stop it. That is not serious. Anytime you tell one group of people you are 100% the problem, you all are part of the problem, sit down, shut up, and we'll tell you what to do about this. And that includes writing us a check, writing Black Lives Matters a check, writing Black Americans a check for something that, again, why are they assuming that all of us are guilty of this? Some people are racist, again. And by the way, some people who are black are racist. Some people who are of any race can be racist. This is so fundamentally obvious to me. That I don't even know why we have to say these things. So, I've said before, I've written about this in our newsletter. If they have attention, they have the attention now of the American people. The Black Lives Matter movement. Now what? Don't speak to me in platitudes. Don't tell me I should be guilty for something that I'm not guilty of. Dan, Kathy, I'm not going to go along with this. I'm just not. This is not the biblical form of repentance. Repentance, again, as I said first hour, is when I turn from the path I'm on and I go the opposite direction. If I'm on the path of racism, then absolutely I should turn and go back. No one is disputing that. If I'm on the path of sexism, or if I'm on the path of envy and greed, whatever path I'm on. And the truth is, we all are tempted down some or all or many or whatever of these paths, right? I mean, some paths some people take, some paths many people take, some paths, some people take all paths, right? I mean, ultimately, when you get down to it. And if you're on those paths that are not biblical or godly or what have you, you should turn and repent. That's what we're supposed to do. But if you're not on the path, down that path of racism, you don't have the call to repent. It doesn't mean that you can't be empathetic, understanding, but it doesn't mean that there's one viewpoint, especially when that viewpoint says that all white people are racist. It's just enough. It's not, no. I'm telling you, in the circles I operate in, and I would venture to say you're the same way. Now, there are certainly exceptions to the rule, but the people I know, I think about how our children are raised. I don't even know that our kids think about that. I'm thinking about, kids that our kids would see, whether it's at, activities, sports, or church, or what have you, that look different from them. I don't even think it occurs to them. I mean, they notice that they look different, but that's it. They don't think about it like that. And good. I'll tell you what's going to make them think about it more is when they're told that they're racist because they're white. That's what's going to make them think about this more. And now you're going to heap upon them innocent hearts in this particular area. Believe me, they all have things. I'm not going to air their sins on these over the airwaves here, but they all do. They all have things that they are not good at, that they fail in, that they're weak in. We all do. I do as well. But let's not heap things upon them. That's not their responsibility. And so my question is, what next? Is it reparations? Is it defunding police? Is it dismantling police? Because those are non-starters for the vast majority of white conservatives, of white Americans even, of white Christians. These things make no sense. People understand the value that police and law enforcement bring. It doesn't mean that police haven't abused power sometimes. It doesn't mean that police haven't harmed African American suspects unjustifiably. There are certainly cases it is justifiable, right? I mean, there's no doubt. Again, I always go back to the Michael Brown case. Hands up, don't shoot. Absolutely not what happened. Not what happened. It gets lumped in with this stuff, and it's not the same thing. It's not what George Floyd's case was. And those officers, by the way, deserve their day in court or whatever the legal process is. If they want to come up with a plea deal, whatever. They deserve that process. They deserve to hopefully have a jury that hasn't made up their minds on them before they hear the evidence. If these things, they do go to trial, which who knows, there's maybe a good chance it doesn't even happen. But the point is, all these things can be simultaneously true, right? We should understand the problems that we see in the George Floyd situation. We should understand some of the other problems we see. We should understand that protesting is fine, but when protesting turns into rioting, that isn't good. That should not be justified, ever. Never. We shouldn't, and Dan Cathy even said this as well. We shouldn't point out the criminal activity that's being engaged in by some. And again, it's just by some. It's not all the protesters. You shouldn't point our finger at that when they're, expressing frustrations. Why do we have to assume that? I mean, some of these folks are organized by radical groups. We got Antifa that we're talking about. Some Antifa members have met with ISIS folks. That's cute. That's fantastic. We're not supposed to just speak out against that. I mean, violence and destroying personal property has to stop. Why can't I say that? Look, if you capitulate and wait until people destroy stuff and then you say, now we're going to talk, you're only encouraging more of that. Same thing with these radical lunatics that have taken over CHOP or whatever it is in Seattle. You let them have effectively the keys to the city blocks, let them do whatever they want. It's a mess. It's disgusting. There's a lot of violence. And now it's funny that they're putting up walls and they're trying to enforce. They have a warlord over there. What the heck? I mean, we're talking about warlords in America. Things that were part of movies years ago now are apparently status quo, at least as it pertains to the city of Seattle, Washington, led, of course, by radical leftists. Here you go. This is the fruit on the vine. This is the fruit on the vine that we get when we elect lawless radical leftists. This is it, folks, on display. So to me, why can't we point out these things? You cannot give one side of this argument blanket immunity. And again, not every protester is a rioter. And I'm not lumping those folks in. Conversely, not every officer is a racist. Not every officer is trying to harm people. And not every officer, there's some. Those folks need to face consequences. To me, a lot of this is already being addressed. And when it's not, it needs to be cleaned up. It doesn't mean that there shouldn't be any changes. I'm not even saying that. All I'm saying is, what are we supposed to do next? If it involves radical leftist ideologies like reparations, defunding or dismantling police, not requiring a voter ID for voting, these are the solutions? No, not the solutions. And I don't care if a white person has to say that or a black person or what have you. Like, it's just doesn't make sense. Don't be shamed and bullied into shutting up. Don't be shamed and bullied into thinking that you can't have an opinion. Don't be shamed and bullied into thinking that because you're white, you're automatically whatever they say you are. Hogwash. Nonsense. Stop it. Don't fall for that. I got to take a break. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
Hi, my name is John Swadner, Sales Director of the Todd Huff Show. As a listener of the program, you know the show is growing. 4 years ago, it began as a podcast in a closet. Today, it's a 2-hour show that airs during morning drive in Indy and in Utah, and we're just scratching the surface. Todd brought me on board to help the show and our advertisers grow. That's why I'm specifically looking for partners who are a good fit to advertise with us. Would that be you? To learn more about what advertising would look like and to determine if it's a good fit for your business, shoot me an email to john@toddhuffshow.com. And be sure to ask me about some of our special packages that will save you up to 40%. Email john@toddhuffshow.com. Shoot me an email today.
Hi, I'm Greg Hubler from Greg Hubler Chevrolet. You know, a promise can get lost in a big city, but in a smaller town, a promise made had better be a promise kept. That's why the Greg Hubler Promise covers every vehicle we sell. All new Chevys receive a 3-year, 45,000-mile scheduled maintenance, plus complimentary roadside assistance and a free car wash with every visit. A promise made is a promise kept. Stop by Greg Hubler Chevy today or visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Healthcare is expensive and complicated. Did you know that as a Christian business owner, it is possible to provide access to affordable health benefits for your employees? Remodel Health has helped employers across the United States save over $22 million in the past 3 years. Our innovative approach allows your employees to have the health benefits they need at a cost you can afford. Go to remodelhealth.com/Todd to help your employees find the health care they deserve. Remodel Health. Rethink employee health benefits.
The compassion of Christ compels us to stop what we're doing and seek that person out. I think as Jesus went in that famous song I sang as a little kid was Zacchaeus, come down. Zacchaeus was in a tree and he wanted to engage with Jesus, but he just couldn't, and Jesus stopped and he went over to him. If we are going to live a life of compassion, the compassion of Christ, are we willing to stop and seek those who need a touch of compassion today?
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Welcome back. So, I'm going to play a couple of thoughts running through my head here. I didn't see this until actually during the break. Tucker Carlson last night, Fox News, reported that Garrett Rolfe, he's the officer that has been charged with capital murder in the shooting of Rayshard Brooks, his stepmother, she worked at a place called Equity Mortgage or Equity Prime Mortgage One. And she was fired from her job. I'll let Tucker explain this. Here in just a second.
Final point tonight, a kind of coda, which really tells you everything about what's happening to our country right now, how it has gone with amazing quickness from one of the most tolerant places of goodwill on the planet, to something very different very, very fast. So we've been telling you the story of the police officer charged, Officer Rolfe. Until today, his stepmother, her name is Melissa Rolfe, was the HR director at a place called Equity Prime Mortgage in Atlanta, Georgia. But today, she was let go. She's no longer in that role. Apparently, she was fired, and her only crime was being Officer Rolfe's stepmother. According to a source familiar with the matter who spoke to this program, Rolfe was promised that her job was safe, but today she was told, and we're quoting, "We have to terminate our relationship with you." No other explanation was offered, and honestly, no other explanation was needed. It was obvious what happened. Rolfe has already been scrubbed from the company's website, wiped away as the Bolsheviks did with those who lost favor with Joseph Stalin. That will keep happening until lawmakers decide to resist the mob and protect ordinary people from its predations. This is where the country is going. It's becoming a place where you can be punished for the supposed misdeeds of your relatives. You don't want to be that country. All of us should put on the brakes immediately.
Okay, so he gives that update, comes back from break, apparently, or some portion later in the program, and the company had sent them information explaining, well, their side, if you will, of the story. So he picks up here.
Well, we just told you a moment ago that the stepmother of Officer Rolfe, the Atlanta cop who's facing the death penalty for the shooting of Rayshard Brooks, was just fired from her job today at a place called Equity Prime Mortgage in the Atlanta area. We told you she was fired with no explanation, obviously because he disapproved of who her stepson was, and that in America we don't do things like that because it's immoral. We just got a statement sent to us from Equity Prime Mortgage. They're blaming Nestor's stepmother, rather, Rolfe's stepmother, alluding to social media comments. They don't specify what those are. Then they added a long boilerplate comment about how they support diversity. The bottom line is, it seems pretty clear they fired this woman because of who her stepson was. And just to restate the obvious, that shouldn't happen in this country because it's wrong. And people should say it's wrong or will continue to keep happening.
He's exactly right on that. And that's the point here. When you have Dan Cathy get on stage with Louis Giglio, Lecrae, whatever's going on up there, fine. But the problem is when we start taking these things to the extreme, when we start just uniformly blaming every white person, every white Christian, suddenly, and at the same time, excusing the sometimes over-the-top, radically violent behavior of folks that are looting and rioting. I mean, there have been people that have died through this, folks. Why do those lives not matter as much? Some black lives have been lost in the aftermath of what's happened with George Floyd, and of course that led to all this rioting and looting. Multiple. I think I saw last week there'd been a total of 17 deaths. I think was the count from the looting and the rioting and the violence that has ensued from this. And we're just supposed to sit and talk about one aspect. I'm not saying that nothing needs to be done. I'm saying let's identify what that is, and it better include something besides reparations, defunding the police, dismantling the police, or radically changing voter ID laws so that anyone can vote even without being able to prove who they are. I mean, these are basic things. These are fundamentally basic things. Look, and even I know in the state of Indiana, I think we still do. I know at one time we gave out free voter ID cards. Free. So it's not trying to add a poll tax or anything like that. This is designed to simply say, are you a person here that's legally, that can legally vote? What's the big deal with this? So my point is, if the solutions are anything but this, if the solutions involve those things, we're going to have a problem. You're going to have a problem. And you know what? There should be a problem because those are not real solutions to this. I don't care what Christianity Today has to say about reparations. I don't care about any of that. These are indefensible ideas. In my mind, I look at what's happened in Minnesota and Minneapolis with the officers involved. All 4 have been arrested. All 4 have been charged. All 4 had, high bail amounts set, and they're facing justice, whatever that means. That this has to play out. Now, what happens if someone's found not guilty, someone's acquitted? I mean, there's probably going to be more looting and fires. And in fact, since they've defunded or dismantled their police force in Minneapolis, it might even be worse for all we know. My question remains the same. What now? What do you want? And don't list them as demands. Don't assume that every white person is racist because that's not true. You've seen videos now. I've seen them. Saw them on Twitter yesterday. Old white man walking down the store of a grocery store. A very, very big black man comes by. Younger black man, big, hits him in the back of the head, knocks him to the ground, and then starts pummeling the old white guy. There are consequences for these things. When you begin excusing behavior, you'll get more of that behavior. This has to stop. And including what's apparently been the case here with the stepmother of Garrett Rolfe. The stepmother. We're now punishing families, folks? Is this where we want to go as America? Is this really the direction that we need to go? Is this really the right thing? Is this really a noble movement? Is this really the thing, the consequences, the results that we want to see from a movement? Is this, are these things that are going to be exemplified and just, turned into great stories of success and advancement in this country because the mother-in-law of this guy who candidly, from any evidence I've seen, should not have been charged with murder in the shooting of Rayshard Brooks. Of course, we gloss over this joke of a district attorney, a guy that's got more personal problems and corruption charges. I mean, it looks like he should be working with Hillary Clinton. But none of that matters. None of that matters. And it's sad. And that's what's scary. If you feel like you can't say something, I've always said this. If you want to know who's really, what's really not politically correct, really the folks who are facing, pressure, societal pressures, or who are not liked at large, and it's okay to not like them, just ask yourself, who could they have a day for at let's assume Major League Baseball opens up again. Let's say they start playing baseball, they have their 60-game season, and just imagine New York Yankees has a day honoring, fill in whatever group, the local church, the local Black Life Matters group, Antifa. Which of these groups, and I'm going to let you decide on your own, but which of these groups could get a day? If you can get a day at the ballpark, today is whatever, fill in the blank, such and so day. If you can get a day at the ballpark at Yankee Stadium, as they do this from time to time, then you're not in, you have risen past the level where you are generally oppressed by society. The people that put those days together, aren't going to pick a group that the majority of their fans are going to be sickened by, right? So anyway, this is a mess. This has to be addressed. We can't allow this stuff to happen. We can't gloss over the negative things that are happening, whether they're directly related to the initial movement or not. They've spawned off from this because we've given one group, one side of this argument, complete immunity. They can act without any consequence. The other side has to sit down and shut up. Not a good thing in America. Not a good thing. How we possibly think that that's a good thing is beside me, but it raises the point as to what really is going on here, and that is the political side of this argument, the political consequences that they want, the results, and that is radical leftist ideology implemented. Again, reparations, defunding, dismantling police, what have you. No voter ID requirements at all, just come and vote as many times as you want sort of thing. Lawlessness, folks, I'm telling you, the radical left is synonymous with lawlessness, and I've got to take a break. Sit tight, be back in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Ever ask yourself, what does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We've found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804.
I love my community, and I wanted to do more to make a difference with my hard-earned dollars. I wanted to make an impact and help shape our future and our county. So I gave money to the Community Foundation of Morgan County. More than just charitable giving, the money I donate is tracked and measured so every dollar is held accountable. It's a social return on your investment. Why don't you join me in donating at cfmconline.org? That's cfmconline.org. philanthropy with measurable impact.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
When life is hard for the women you care about, there is help with issues such as widowhood, anxiety, depression, or abuse. They don't have to go through it alone. Peace Restored is there to walk with women through the journey. Peace Restored helps women through free mentoring, counseling, and education. When life is hard, Peace Restored is there to help women you care about find hope and healing. To learn more, visit peacerestored.net.
Welcome back. Let's shift gears here a little bit, and this is another short segment. I've got to get us back on track here. Oz will do that. She's good at that. I am not good at taking directions sometimes as to when we need to take a break, especially if I'm in the middle of a thought. So that has to be planted into my mind here as we get into this next issue. So let's talk about DACA for a moment. Supreme Court rules that basically, in a nutshell, Obama can do whatever he wants in establishing DACA, but Trump can't do whatever he wants to get rid of DACA. I mean, that's really what we're dealing with here. And so the court ruled 5-4, of course, 5-4 split decision. And you'll guess, of course, you've got the 4 liberal justice plus, yes, you know, John Roberts, Chief Justice, nominated by George W. Bush after the passing of William Rehnquist, became the Chief Justice and has been the Chief Justice for some, I don't know exactly, I have to look at the year, but it's been obviously a good while now. Anyway, so the 4 Gorsuch, which there's still, I guess, a question mark beside, Gorsuch, Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh voted against this. And Thomas actually came out and said something about this. Terrence Thomas basically points out the obvious here, which is that this is something that should be reviewed in the court system. Trump can't end DACA, the Supreme Court ruled. But Obama can start DACA. Think about this. Obama can implement DACA through executive order. Trump cannot end DACA through executive order. It's nonsense. In fact, Clarence Thomas says this. Today's decision must be recognized for what it is, an effort to avoid a politically controversial but legally correct decision. It is given the green light for future political battles to be fought in this court rather than where they rightfully belong, the political branches. Bingo, circle gets the square. Clarence Thomas, exactly right. Political fights belong in political branches. Legal fights belong in the legal branch. My goodness, this is even maybe more basic than American Government 101. This is maybe 50 level, or maybe just American Government 1. This is so fundamentally basic, yet they refuse. It's amazing to me. You know, again, this is similar to what I was saying last segment, where the left's side of the Black Lives Matter movement, they're allowed to do whatever they want. Antifa can get involved, cities can be taken over, no big deal. We're all cool. Everything's cool with that. But the other side has to sit down and shut up. Conservatives have to sit down and shut up, especially white conservatives. How dare we have an opinion or have any, we have to shut up. We've created systemic racism, and we're the problem, and we're all racist. That's what we're effectively told. And so it's amazing in the same way to me, in the same way, when a liberal concept or policy goes through the court, it can, or goes, is challenged like this one was, it can do whatever. Obama can write DACA, no problem. The court sees nothing wrong with that. Executive order, folks. So think about this. You can start something with executive order, but you can't end it. It was never passed into law. I understand you can't take a law and just change it through executive order, although you can do those sorts of things if you're a leftist. Or you can take it to the Supreme Court and say, look, this needs to be, DACA is the right thing. We shouldn't have a political fight because there's white Republicans in there, and they're just going to be racist. So the court has to do the right thing and protect the interests of people that are affected by DACA. Boom. Problem solved. But it's obvious. Politically, it needs to be, it's not fun for folks to have this fight, but DACA needs to be fought in the legislature, in politics. We have an election coming up. The election could be focused on that issue. Americans can voice their opinions through who they choose to be their representatives. Instead, the court, a group of people that are politically immune from any decisions whatsoever, people that no one, the vast majority of Americans don't know, can't even name maybe one justice, maybe Ruth RBG. That's probably what they know her as. They don't even know her name. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, RBG. She's got action figures now. Have you seen that? Actually, yeah, she does, Oz. Look it up. Maybe see what they cost. Maybe we'll get one here at the Todd Huff Show. You never know. But RBG has action figures after that movie, whatever the movie was called. What movie was it called? Was it called RBG? Maybe. We don't know. We don't care. I'll tell you this. This is what happens. When it comes to a political issue that's liberal getting implemented into law, anything goes. Riots, Antifa, courts being judicial activists, doesn't matter. None of that matters. Conservatives, you want to have a conservative policy, everything has to be perfect. The president of the United States can't write an executive order. The conservative justices can't have conservative opinions. If they do, they hate, of course, in this particular case, Hispanics. It's turned into a racial thing, which, of course, turns into a civil rights thing, which, of course, turns into something the court has to rule upon, not based upon what the law says, or in this case, the executive order. They can pull in other things, right? That's why one of the justices, liberal justices years ago, did things like cite foreign law in his decisions. Whatever he had to do to get to the point to where he could get the decision he wanted. And folks, if you're a judge on the Supreme Court, a justice on the Supreme Court, and you are not occasionally making decisions that you don't agree with, you're not doing your job. Because your job isn't to interpret that law. Your job isn't to implement whatever law you think should be the law. It's to follow what it says. And that's not what's happening. And that is dangerous for our constitutional republic. Got to take a break. Sit tight. Be back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
Ever ask yourself, What does my business insurance actually cover? Well, at AIA and Avon, we think you deserve to know. AIA is focused on earning your trust. We found that when we educate our clients and truly listen to them, they allow us to work alongside them to put together the insurance plan they need. Whether your business is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com. Advertisement sponsored by Grange Insurance.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $100 down, $200 back up, $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegieAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegee, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegieAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee & Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200 back up, $300.
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freegee, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegieAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freegee, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegieAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freegee, owner and lead auctioneer at Freegee & Freegee Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC. Welcome back. I know in the minds of some people, talking about a Supreme Court case and talking about how the court acted outside the bounds of their constitutional powers seems a little boring and dry. I understand that. I get that. But what happens, and what we all have to be aware of, is that the liberal way of doing things, the liberal version of the solution for America, which of course never is the solution. It always makes things more expensive, a bigger mess, more chaotic, and all this. And this doesn't work. But it's almost as though they've decided, like, this is what's going to happen. The liberal idea is going to win here. And anything that we have to do, we'll do. We'll either use the courts, we'll use executive orders, we'll use the media, we'll use, they don't want to have these debates in Congress and actually pass laws because it'll oftentimes, in many cases anyway, hurt them in the polls. And this is, of course, an election year. But there's maybe some things that they can do within Congress, whatever they have to do. Same thing with Biden being their nominee. He's the presumptive nominee, but at some point, they'll do, if they don't think Biden's the guy, they'll do whatever they have to do. And the media will say, oh, of course, this is not a very well-known loophole that the folks at the Democrat Party have found. And so they've chosen that very sophisticated, certain details had to fall just in line to where their nominee could not be Joe Biden, and they'll do whatever they have to do. That's the thing. When one side can do whatever it wants to do and the other side has to be effectively flawless, perfect, without any defect, whenever our motivations are questioned, the other side can do whatever. Doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter if they wear kente cloth that used to be used by Africans who were maybe even involved in the selling of slaves. That doesn't matter. Trump did that. We'd be hearing about that incessantly. Trump's dog whistle to racists and all this stuff, right? That's the bigger point. If they can use any method necessary and they can bend the rules, break the rules, make up the rules, whatever, to have their outcome achieved, and conservatives have to be flawless, that's a problem. And that's where we are, and it's reprehensible. And I got to take a break. Sit tight. You're listening to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff. Back in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Ever wondered what shooting a real machine gun feels like? At Indie Trading Post, you can have an awesome and safe shooting experience in our family-friendly environment. Firing a weapon on full auto is something you will always remember. Schedule some range time today and let Indie Trading Post give you the real machine gun shooting experience. We guarantee you'll have a blast. Give us a call at 317-782-4867 or schedule your range time at fullautoindy.com.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Radon is an invisible, odorless gas that kills more people than drunk driving. In fact, radon is the leading cause of lung cancer in non-smokers. Is radon threatening the health of your family? Call Radon Environmental at 317-843-0804. Radon Environmental specializes in radon testing and mitigation. The process is quick, easy, and worth it. Radon Environmental wants to make sure your family's health is not at risk. Call 317-843-0804.
Are you an electrician, plumber, or handyman looking for an 8-to-5 job that pays you what you're worth? Copper Ridge Home Services wants you. Our veteran-owned family business offers holiday pay, weekends off, and on-site training for entry-level positions. Our team is growing, so if you have a can-do attitude, we want you to be part of that growth. Ready for a change? Give Copper Ridge a call at 317-839-6100. That's 317-839-6100. Copper Ridge Home Services. We value your time.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, president of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, We have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
All right, folks, waning moments. Hour number 2 on today's program. And it is a sad moment indeed as we are wrapping up for the day, for the week. But that's okay. You can always catch older episodes of our program, encore episodes of the Todd Huff Show on our website, toddhuffshow.com/listen. You can also sign up for our email newsletter, get some other things there. All you got to do is text the word Huff to 31996 or go to toddhuffshow.com/subscribe. Get some other content there as well. And folks, it is a pleasure to have you. I appreciate you being here very much. I hope you have a great weekend. We will see you bright and early Monday morning, guys. Thanks so much for listening. SDG. See you Monday. Take care.